Every single time you walk into a store or browse a website, you're being manipulated, and the scary part is that you have absolutely no idea it's happening. These are 5 psychological tricks that retailers have spent decades perfecting. Tactics so effective that when researchers ask shoppers directly if they were influenced, 86% say no, they weren't affected at all. The data proves they absolutely were. From the music playing overhead to the numbers on price tags, behavioral economists and consumer psychologists have engineered nearly every element of your shopping experience for one purpose: to separate you from your money. One of these tactics proved so powerful that when a major retailer tried to stop using it, analysts called what followed the worst quarter in retail history. The most obvious trick sits right there on every price tag, hiding in plain sight. 60% of all advertised retail prices end in the number 9, and that's no accident. Charm pricing exploits how your brain reads numbers from left to right. When $9.99 appears on a tag, your mind anchors on that first digit and files the price closer to $9 than $10, even though 1 cent separates them. Professors Eric Anderson and Duncan Semester from MIT and the University of Chicago proved this back in 2003, and their finding was genuinely bizarre. Testing women's clothing in a mail-order catalog, they discovered that a dress priced at $39 outsold the identical dress priced at $34. The more expensive option won simply because it ended in 9. William Poundstone documented this in his book Priceless, where he found that charm pricing boosts sales by an average of 24% compared to rounded prices, and that's when things get dramatic. JCPenney hired Ron Johnson in 2012, the guy who built Apple's retail stores, and he decided to eliminate the psychological games by replacing $1.99 prices with honest rounded numbers. What followed was a disaster. Sales dropped 32% in the fourth quarter of 2012, which meant Johnson lost his job by April 2013. JCPenney went right back to charm pricing. A CEO with a proven track record tried treating customers like rational adults, and the market punished him for it. Most people have never consciously noticed the music playing in a grocery store, and that's exactly the point. Ronald Milliman, a marketing professor at Loyola University, ran an experiment in 1982 that changed retail forever. Slow tempo music played on some days, fast tempo on others, and then he measured what happened. 38.2% higher. That's how much sales volume jumped on slow music days. Customers walked more slowly, browsed longer, and bought more. But when Milliman surveyed them afterward, they showed zero awareness that music had affected their behavior. A 1997 study in a wine shop delivered the most striking proof of music's subliminal power. Researchers at the University of Leicester played French music on certain days and German music on others. French music days saw French wine outsell German 5-1, while German music days flipped that ratio to 2-1, favoring German wine. Music literally determined which country's products people bought. When researchers questioned customers, only 1 out of 44 mentioned music as a possible influence, and 86% insisted it didn't affect them. They were wrong, and the data proved it. That slow music drifting through your favorite store isn't entertainment. It's there to slow you down and empty your wallet. Once you understand the decoy effect, you'll spot it everywhere. Picture yourself choosing between 2 options, weighing the pros and cons carefully. A third option appears that's strategically designed to be clearly worse than one of the others. Nobody picks the decoy. It exists solely to make another option look better by comparison. Dan Ariely, the behavioral economist, demonstrated this using The Economist magazine's subscription pricing. 3 options appeared on their site. Web only cost $59, print only cost $125, and print plus web also cost $125. Think about that middle option for a second. Paying $125 for print only when print and web cost the same makes no sense, which meant nobody chose it. But here's the thing. With all 3 options visible, 84% picked print plus web. Ariely then removed the decoy and offered just 2 choices, and only 32% went for print plus web. 43% more revenue flowed in from an option nobody even selected, all because it made the expensive choice look smart. Ariely put it this way: most people don't know what they want unless they see it in context, because we lack an internal value meter, so we focus on the relative advantage of one thing over another. That medium popcorn priced suspiciously close to the large exists for this reason. Apple structures their pricing tiers around it. Whenever three options appear and one seems obviously worse at a similar price point, you're looking at this trick working on you. Scent marketing bypasses your conscious brain entirely, which makes it the most insidious manipulation tactic of all. Your sense of smell connects directly to the limbic system, where emotion and memory live. Unlike every other sense, smell skips the parts of your brain responsible for rational thought and hits your emotional center without filtering. Eric Spangenberg at Washington State University ran an 18-day study in 2012 that tracked over 400 customers in a Swiss home store. A simple orange scent drifted through the air, and customers exposed to it spent 20% more than those shopping in unscented conditions. Dr. Alan Hirsch's earlier research proved even more dramatic. Identical Nike running shoes sat in two rooms, one filled with floral fragrance and one left unscented. Customers turned out to be 84% more likely to buy in the scented room, and they estimated those exact same shoes were worth $10.33 more. Same product, same price, different smell, and suddenly perceived value jumped along with purchase rates. Abercrombie & Fitch poured over $3 million into ceiling-mounted machines that pumped their fierce cologne through every store. That single fragrance has generated over $200 million in sales since 2002. Resisting influence you don't consciously perceive turns out to be impossible, and scent operates almost entirely below your awareness. Physical stores rely on all those tricks, but online shopping has pushed manipulation into territory so extreme that governments now hand out billion-dollar fines. Dark patterns, a term UX designer Harry Brignall coined in 2010, describe interface designs that manipulate users into doing things they never intended. Countdown timers flash urgency at you. Warnings claim only 3 remain in stock. Pop-ups announce that someone in Ohio just bought this item. Princeton researchers crawled 53,000 product pages across 11,000 websites in 2019 and documented 118 dark pattern instances. Many scarcity claims turned out to be complete fabrications. JustFab's countdown timer reset after expiring, and OrthoFeet displayed low stock warnings for every single product regardless of actual inventory. Measuring effectiveness, a 2021 University of Chicago study found that control groups without dark patterns showed 11.3% sign-up rates. Mild dark patterns pushed that to 25.4%, and aggressive versions hit 37.2%, nearly quadrupling the baseline, 2.5 billion. That's what the Federal Trade Commission extracted from Amazon in September 2025 over manipulative Prime enrollment practices. Amazon's internal teams nicknamed their deliberately difficult cancellation process Iliad, a joke referencing Homer's epic, because of how long and painful they designed it to be. Booking.com faces a $413 million fine in Spain, and 130,000 consumers joined a class action lawsuit in the Netherlands within a single week. Manipulation paid off for years because fines stayed smaller than profits. Billion-dollar penalties are finally changing that math. All 5 tricks share one thing in common. They work below conscious awareness, succeeding precisely because you never realize what's happening. Charm pricing exploits how your brain processes numbers, and removing it cost JCPenney 32% of their sales. Slow background music lifts spending by 38%, while 86% of shoppers swear it had no effect on them. Decoy pricing pulls in 43% more revenue through an option that nobody actually picks. Simple Scents boosts spending by 20% and make purchases 84% more likely. Dark patterns nearly quadruple conversion rates, though billion-dollar fines now follow. Knowing about these tricks probably won't make you immune, because your brain responds to these cues whether you want it to or not. Awareness still matters as a first step. Notice yourself slowing down in a store and ask whether the music is slow. Spot 3 pricing options and hunt for the decoy. Read a website claiming only 2 left and question whether that number is real. Full resistance to these tricks might be impossible, but at least now you know when you're being played.